Hey guys, we're going to be going to Dark Ifrit, the final boss of Dark Visions number 15 on Global. I posted my early draft clear earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and delete that first clear because now I have cleaned it up entirely and done a better score, and I've fixed some mistakes, and so we're going to be doing a better clear. It's very similar to the first clear, just some improvements. And then I'm going to be probably going back to this boss next week and trying an even better clear. But for this week, we're going to be using a fire team to kill Dark Ifrit. Again, if you already saw my first clear, this is very similar. I just have a better score now that I changed a few things. And I will post a turn chart of my actions per turn in the comments that you can follow along if you want that. And I'm going to try to, and I got some comments saying that the shorthand I use in my turn charts is a little hard to follow. So I'm going to try to list out everything, like the full skill name in the turn chart for the most part. Some of the stuff like, Magnus can only be one thing, so you know what that means. Anyway, here's the team we're going to use. The boss does physical earth damage and magical fire damage. The boss will buff himself on thresholds. We're never going to push a threshold, though. And does a 70% AoE imperil, which we're going to dispel with Ling. And then the boss is a beast. So for the team, we're going to be using White Dragon Ling. Her base form is just using some auto buffing to help her deal with her self-damage. Phoenix Energy to heal herself. The whole team has 20% or better to fire resist. And in some of their forms, they've got 40% or better earth resist because we're using a 60% earth buff and an 80% fire buff. But sometimes we're going to be shifting and relying on Mirage to avoid attacks instead of resistance. That way we can skip earth resist on a few of the units in their better DPS form. So base form Ling, 12 auto limit, her TMR or STMR. You don't need the STMR, the TMR is totally fine. And then the shift form, she's going to be a capper. We've got 20 or better fire, 40 or better earth. And I know she's a true dual wield unit, but because of the gun imperil and because she has really high beast killer naturally, she actually deals more damage for my gear with a double hand build and using the chain cap bonuses. So Savior's STMR, the chain comprehension from the Behemoth raid, and then full true double hand, and she's using her own card, and she has 250 beast, and that's all that matters because we're using her as a capper. Louise in the base form just has a lot of auto limit, Dragon's Brush, Call of the Wild, a lot of percent fill, and 40 or better earth, 20 or better fire, and there is her setup. Shift form, she is not using enough earth resist in the shift form, but again, like I mentioned, we're going to use Mirage anytime she shifts to not have to worry about that. So this form is using LB damage versus Beast, and she's a little bit short. I might, Moogle or STMR Moogle some more Beast Killer next week, but for now, we're gonna go with this 275 Beast and maxed LB damage, and she'll be doing the gun imperil for the team, and then the fire support and all that. Lightning Fast Sedain, base form, just has resistances, a little bit of LB fill, and we're using his STMR song for the buff. There we go. And then shift form, we're starting him in the shift form on turn 1. We're going to stack him turns 1 through 4, and then he's going to sing his song, and then we're going to kill on turn 10. Shift form has the resistances needed, double dagger, LB damage, beast killer, and he's maxed on everything. We've got 300 beast and 300 LB damage. Cetra Descendant Aerith, and the base form is just using some resistances, dual cast, and we're on Carbuncle with Reflect and Fire Resist learned, and then we're equipping the Bar Stonera to give us a 60% stone resist buff, and then Duty to the World is just for resistances. Shift form, she's going to be a tag chainer. Now her damage as the tag chainer is going to be pretty low, but I did gear her for quote-unquote the best damage I can gear as a tag chainer. She's using a sword for the imperil because we're using sword imperils. We don't have enough earth resist, but we're going to use Mirage to let her avoid that when she shifts later in the fight. Chain cap boost, leftover killer gear. Overall, she's going to be mostly a support, not here for damage. She's got 50 beast killer, so yeah. Terra in the base form is our passive provoke evade unit. She is got some earth resist, as you can see. Lion emblem to just has something to do on turns to fill the LB gauge. That's optional. If you don't have it, don't sweat it. And then there we go, passive provoke evasion. Shift form, we're only shifting on the kill turns. We don't need resistances. Double sword for the imperil. Now, if you've got Aerith EX2, you can go with rods and potentially deal more damage because rod imperil is 35%. Like, double Milo STMR or Luna Freya STMR would be better on Terra. But I don't have an EX2 Aerith, so yeah. And there's her setup. Just pretty typical Terra stuff. There we go. And then Arden, base form, just has the resistances needed. Lion emblem to give him something to do on off turns. And then shift form, he is going to be a Dragoon who jumps. And again, he is low on Earth Resist, but anytime he shifts, we're going to use double Mirage to protect him, so we can skip Earth Resist. Double Sword, Demon Horn, because I just don't have enough Beast Killer. I'm really considering STMR Mogaline or Uosine Irvine for more Beast Killer. But we're going to wait till next week before we go all in for this boss. But he is maxed on Beast and maxed on jump damage. It's just that Demon Horn with no attack really feels bad. But whatever. So we're going to go ahead and give it a go. I might make a mistake or whatever, so I might have to edit the video, but let's give it a try. Alright, so like I mentioned, Zidane is starting in the shift form. If you didn't start him there, shift him on turn 1 to get his cooldown going. Aerith is going to dual cast Bar Farega and Bar Stonera. We're going to shift Ling to the shift form. And on turn 1, we're going to do Magnus. We're going to do Rallying Dance and Celestial Combo Step. That's going to give chain frames to the entire party. So we're going to use Louise to SR 3 times. Zidane is going to SR 3 times. And so are Terra, and so are Arden. This is going to give us that 100-point chain score because on the kill turn, we are not going to be chaining to 100. We're using only a tag chainer. Okay. Terra is provoking. We are immune to everything else. Okay, so for on turn 2, we're going to use Aerith to dual cast Reflect on herself and Bar Farega to bounce Fire Resist onto the boss. This is going to make it so we deal less damage as we stack up. We're going to shift Louise on this turn and Psionic Pulse, her LB basically. Alright, that's going to give her a stack, and as you see it does no damage because we gave the boss Fire Resist. Alright, Ling on this turn is going to triple. We're going to Dragon's Bite to start stacking it up. We're going to Celestial Dance. This is an AoE Mirage 4-stack. This is going to protect Louise from the earth damage on this turn. And then we're going to Passionate Performance. Now, one thing to be mentioning, Celestial Dance deals 10,000 damage to Ling, and Passionate Performance deals 4,000. It's going to deal less to us because we're using Auto General Mitigation. If your Ling is not using Auto General Mit from the base form, you might want to swap out and not use Passionate because you don't want to kill Ling. This would deal 14,000 damage if she didn't have General Mit on herself. So for now, it's only dealing about 9,000, but it's still a lot of damage for herself. So be mindful of that and don't kill your Ling. All right, so Zidane's going to get a stack of his LB on this turn. And now we're just going to Rallying Cry Terra and Rallying Cry Arden. And if you don't have Rallying Cry, the Lion Emblem, you can just guard them. It doesn't really matter. This just fills LB. It makes it a little bit easier to get LB filled for the party. Specifically Zidane and Louise. Alright, so on this turn, we're going to use Aerith to dual cast. We're just going to buff the boss again. We're going to Reflect herself, and we're going to use her +2 Protectka, just so the boss takes less damage as we stack up. It just prevents pushing thresholds, because pushing thresholds would trigger bad stuff, and we don't want to deal with that. Alright, so now, let's see. We're going to use Zidane to just punch the boss. This is going to give AoE LB fill, which allows Louise to do a second stack of her LB, which is now at max stacks. Alright, after that's done, we're going to use Ling to do Dragon's Bite for a second stack of Dragon's Bite. We're going to do Refreshing Twirl. This is an AoE Mirage. It also heals her. And then we're going to use the second stack of Dragon Dancer, her Magnus, to AoE fill LB gauge. Specifically for Zidane to get him filled up. And then we're going to reload Terra and Arden to Rallying Cry again. So Zidane is ready to go yet again on turn 4. As you see, we are miraging all these bad attacks. Okay, we're now imperiled. Not a problem. All right, we're going to go back to the base form with Louise. Now Louise, because we don't want to guard Louise, we're just going to use her to do tactical armor for a bunch of turns because we don't want to guard her or we'll lose her stacks. But we don't really need anything else from her for a while, so we'll just do that. We're going to use a second stack of Zidane's LB right here. Now we did get imperiled, keep that in mind, and we're doing this in this order specifically for a reason. Alright, so I got another list here. Okay, so we're going to use Ling now to triple. I'm sorry, we're going to go to the base form, and we're going to triple. We're going to start with Clean Movement. That's going to AoE dispel everyone, including our own team, to get rid of the imperils. And we're going to Passionate Performance twice. Now keep in mind, again, Passionate Performance deals a lot of damage to her. This is going to deal 8,000 damage if she wasn't mitigating, but she is. So this will deal up to 8,000 damage. Make sure your Ling doesn't kill herself. If she does, is dealing too much damage, just use a different skill. Well, we AoE dispelled everything, so now we need Resist again. So we're going to bar Farega and bar Stonera on our Aerith. And then I believe on this turn, yeah, we just Rallying Cry with these two to fill LB gauge and have something to do. Okay. Some attacks, no worries here. Alright, Zidane is back in the base form on turn 5. We're going to sing his STMR song so we can kill on turn 10. Alright, we're going to shift Arden on this turn, and we're going to use his shifted cooldown to unlock his modifier boost. Now remember, Arden does not have enough Earth Resist in this form, but he does have 30 from the Chocobo hat. So we're just going to use Ling on this turn to just cast Bar Stonega from Titan. That's an 80% Earth Resist buff. It keeps Arden safe. You could also do Mirage, whatever. So if you don't have Bar Stonega learned on Titan, you can Mirage, and it's totally fine as well. Louise is just going to Tactical Armor again, so we don't guard her. Aerith has nothing to do. She can just repeat the resistances, and Terra can repeat Rallying Cry. Yeah, we're just basically hanging out at the moment as we wait. Okay, on this turn, Ling is going to use her cooldown, just Rejuvenating Dance. Or if your Ling is full health, you can, Rejuvenating Dance. Or you can do, Passionate Performance and Rejuvenating Dance, just to get a little bit more LB fill for Zidane. But we need a Rejuvenating Dance. The reason for that is it unlocks triple cast, and we're going to need that later. We're going to go back to the base form with Arden and just Rallying Cry this turn. Terra just, Rallying Cries pretty much the rest of the fight until the kill turn. Aerith can just repeat, and Louise can just repeat. We're just not guarding units, because remember, guarding removes any stacked up skills. And currently, Ling has a stacked up skill, Louise has a stacked up skill, and Zidane has a stacked up skill. So guarding any of them would just, ruin our day. So there's the Imperil. We need to dispel that again. So we're going to start off with White Dragon Ling. We're going to triple cast. We're going to start with Clean Movement to AoE dispel the Imperil. We're going to Passionate Performance to fill a little bit of LB gauge. And we're going to Refreshing Twirl. Make sure you do it in that order, because Refreshing Twirl is for the double Mirage, which is very important, because we're shifting Louise on this turn, and she's not wearing enough resist, but with Refreshing Twirl, she'll be fine. And we're going to Disarming Ionic Blaster to imperil the boss to guns. Alright, Arden is going to use his base form LB to imperil the boss to swords. Let's see, what else are we doing? We dispelled the party, so we're going to fire and earth resist with Aerith, and then Terra is Rallying Cries. Zidane's LB is back to full, so, it's good. If he didn't have Rallying Cry, his LB would still be filled anyway by the time turn 10 comes, because of he's wearing 12 auto limit in the base form. Alright, turn 8, we're going to shift Ling. We're going to shift Louise back to the base form, and we're just going to tactical armor so we don't guard him, but she is back in the base form. We're going to go ahead and Rallying Cry Terra. Arden will use his modifier boost we unlocked a few turns earlier. That's going to boost his jump for later. Alright, Ling in the shift form is going to, in this order, we're going to Hunter Stance for the killer. We're going to Celestial Dance to put up 4 stacks of Mirage. And then we're going to, it doesn't really matter what else we do, truth be told. We can just double cast here. I guess we can Rallying Dance. It doesn't really matter. So Hunter, Celestial, and Rallying. And Aerith is going to shift on this turn and do her shifted LB. Make sure it's the shifted LB. That is going to give us a 400% stat buff and a... Well, it gives us an LB buff as well, but we don't actually need that. We're only doing that for the stat buff. Yeah, we're getting a better LB buff from Zidane's STMR. And if you don't have Zidane's STMR, Aerith would be giving you a 250 LB buff, which is almost as good. Alright, so turn 9, we're going to now use Louise to quad. We're going to put up the field. We're going to incapacitate target, which is her Magnus. And then it doesn't really matter what else she does. We can just Fire Foam and Tactical. It really doesn't matter because her other buffs are being handled by other party members. Alright, Terra, as usual, we're just waiting. She's going to just Rallying Cry. Aerith is going to use Ardent Prayer to AoE imbue fire and do a better fire amplify than Louise could have done. Ling is going to go to the base form this turn. We're going to triple. We're going to use, in this order, Enthrall, Disarming Movements, and then Transcendent Performance, her Magnus. That's to refill her LB gauge. Now the boss has Dagger Imperil, an 85% defense break, and a 90% spirit break. And it's time for Arden to shift and jump, because next turn is the kill turn. So we're going to go ahead and jump Arden. Alright. And the Imperil. And now it's time to kill. Zidane's STMR song is finished. That gives a 300% LB buff to everyone using an LB this turn. Terra finally gets to go to transform, and we're going to LB with her. We're going to shift Zidane to transform and LB with him. We're going to shift Louise to her shifted form. We're going to LB with her. We're going to shift Ling to the shifted form, and we're going to triple cast Dragon's Bite, which at this point has been stacked to the maximum from earlier in the fight. Aerith is going to, in the shifted form, we're going to quad cast Flame Fang to Tag Chain, and we're going to drop Arden. Okay, so we're going to be sending Terra first. We're going to be then using Aerith to tag, then Louise and Zidane, then we're going to use Ling, then we're going to drop Arden. I recommend you practice on the training dummy to get the timing down before you come in here and start blowing energy in 10 turns per attempt. Get the timing down and then do it. Now, early warning, I did a test run earlier and I did 8.4 billion. If I get what I feel to be a very, very, very low damage variance roll, I might close the app and come back in, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let's go ahead and deal our damage. So, send Terra this. Wait for the chain to be built above that. Drop, we should be in 35-point chain. And, okay, let's see what kind of damage we deal. Looking for that good variance. Give me that 10 billion. I know I didn't get 10 billion. 8.4-ish, 8.5-ish. 8.4 again. There we go. So there is my 8.45 clear. I'm going to go ahead and accept it. We're going to go ahead and get the kill in so we can see the damage breakdown. Because that felt like a pretty clean clear. And I want to see who did what. Okay, so the damage is, pretty evenly spread out here. We've got White Dragon. I gotta be completely honest. I am shocked Ling did that much damage. I did not think Ling would be hitting that flippin' hard. Wow, maybe I should prioritize Ling's gear over, Terra's gear. I did not expect Ling hitting that hard, but okay, interesting. So Ling hit really hard. Louise hit the same as Ling. Zidane carried the fight as we expected. Aerith as a tag chainer. I mean, to be fair, she was the support unit. She was very useful as the tag chainer, though. Terra is a little older. We need her Chronicle. Her Chronicle upgrade comes in a few weeks. I'm looking forward to that. But she's still doing good. And then Vermilion Blade Arden did 1.7. Honestly, maybe swapping Terra for Noctis would deal more overall damage. That is quite possible. That a Noctis instead of Terra would do more damage. Even though Noctis is locked to Light Element, it could still potentially be more damage. I might try that later. But here is the clear. And I already showed all the gear and all. So there it is, 1.03. So let's see how I rank currently. Oh wow, rank 12. Now that'll obviously drop over time. But next week we're getting the Tifa banner, and Tifa does exceptionally high damage, especially to Beast. So if I happen to get super lucky on tickets, I plan to use a lot of tickets on Tifa. I don't think I'm doing her step up though. I don't know. I might. I don't know. We'll see. But if I get lucky on Tifa, that's going to be a very, very easy damage cap and perfect score for this Dark Visions. But until the Tifa banner comes around, I'm probably done for this week, so I'm just going to put that on hold for 3 more days. I might go back and do budget runs on the first 2 guys before we're done. But the last thing I didn't really specifically point out during the setup is the Espers. We did use 80% Earth Resist from Titan. That is replaceable by more Mirage on Ling, so that's actually not required. Carbuncle on Aerith gives Reflect, 80% Fire Resist, and she's equipping the Barstonga spell. And actually all the rest I already covered. Okay, there was my improved Ifrit clear. I will see you guys soon for more clears. Later.